Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am working on some hidden paper clips and I have a lot of them down. One of the things that I like to do when I make paper clips is I want them to be as thin as possible. I don't like a bulky one. And when you're dealing with lots of layers, and usually at least one of the layers is, I've got glue all over me, at least one of the layers is kind of a thick cardstock or a board of some sort, it really adds to how bulky they can be. And I don't like them to be bulky. I want them to be like as much to the thickness of a paper clip as possible. So I do my best to get them pretty thin, and I think that's pretty thin. You see that? That's thin. That's good stuff. Okay, so I like to make them thin, and I found a way to do that. And because I like to do it that way, I thought somebody else might like to do it that way. They might want to learn the way that I do it. I've not seen anybody else do it like this, but I kind of just came up with it on my own, and I feel like it might be a little too tedious for some people. It's not going to be for everybody, but you might want to try it. I don't know. Anyway, I'll show you what I do. So let's move some of these out of the way. Okay, let's get into it. So I have three main elements to the construction of my paper clips. I have a paper clip. I like to use just the standard size paper clips. I also, I don't use the little ones, but even for the standard size ones, I don't like to use coated ones that have like the plastic or colored coating. I just like to use just a plain metal paper clip. That's just personal preference. You can use whatever you want. I also use what I would consider the base paper, like some type of a cardstock. This happens to be watercolor paper because I like the texture, I like the color of it, and the weight of it. This is, I think, 300 GSM. And then just what I would call the inner paper. I usually use something light colored. It honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you want to use for your inner paper, but I wouldn't use like a super thin paper, but I also wouldn't use a thick paper. So not like a cardstock, but just like a paper. Does that make sense? Probably. Anybody who's looking at this knows what paper is. Okay, so these are the main three elements that I would consider for the construction of the way I do the paper clips. I would take this is a 5x7. I use 5 as the length now, and then I would slice this up into 3, 4, 2 maybe. And I've done that with some. So I've got them sliced up here, and then I also have a couple where I have already, what is it called? Scored and folded them. Basically, you want the inner paper to be a little bit narrower than the width of your base paper, okay? So we'll use this one. We want to make this a little bit narrower. So if I look at this, if I cut on the inside of this, on the inside of that line, that's going to be perfect, right? So let's do that. I could use the trimmer, or I could just do this. Let's see, does that work? It's not narrow enough. Okay. Okay, so now that's narrower. Now what I want to do is put this flush to where it's going to fold in there, and fold this over the shorter side. So now that I've done that, it tells me like how long I want this piece to be. And there's a reason why. Because we don't want our inner paper to be showing out the other side, right? So as long as this piece is narrower, or shorter, I'm sorry, then it tells me where I want to now cut this so that it won't show from either side. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna go a little bit past this line, so that I'm gonna cut it off where there's like 2 pieces. Does that make sense? So now this inner paper is shorter than the shortest side of my base paper. See that? Shorter. And I may want to actually go a little bit shorter. Just so that it's not interfering with anything whenever I go to I don't want it to interfere with anything. I also might go ahead and do this. Snip off these edges. Because this part now, this is where anything that we put this on in our journal is going to go up into that part, right? Slide in there, and we don't want it to have anything extra to get like hinged on, or what is the word I'm looking for? We don't want anything to hinder with getting caught on. Okay. So now we have our base paper, we have our inner paper, and we have our paper clip. Now, how do we want to bring all of this together? I'm gonna take my, just so that we can measure, I'm gonna take my paper clip and put it on my base paper, and I'm gonna put the long end on the long side, the short end of the paper clip on the short side of the paper, okay? And just kind of get it to where it looks kind of like it's in the center. Now, I'm gonna trace around this. I'm gonna get it to where I'm not in my own way of the camera here. Just a little rough trace. And this is how long it goes. Do a little rough trace here. And that's how long that side goes. All right. Now this is how I get them to be thin. This is like basically my way of doing the construction. I'm gonna take my craft knife and I'm gonna follow along, and I'm gonna cut out a channel for my paper clip. So I'm gonna go past the length of my paper clip. Come over here, go a little bit past. Come up here, past. And this one basically goes all the way and go past. Now I'm gonna cut here and here. And I went past on each. I don't know if it was far enough past, but I'll show you why that is. Let's get this out of here. And that out of there. There we go. And don't throw this away just yet. Some people might want to be as weird and anal as I am, and some people are going to be like, you're a crazy lady. So don't throw it away just yet. Now, while my paper clip is now on my inner paper, put it like in the middle, and I'm going to now put this in here and fold it over, stick that up as far as it'll go, fold it over, and it looks like that's a good fit, maybe. That's a good fit. It's a little bit, yeah, it's actually quite perfect. So see what we've done now? We've made a channel for our paper clip to go down in, and watch what happens. This is how we, whoops, I just moved it. Fold it back in there. This is how we get it flush. So whenever you fold your other papers over it, they're not sticking up there. It's all flush. That's also something that is kind of important to me. All right, so now that we know that that fits, let's go ahead and glue our paper, our inner paper, to our inside of our base paper. I like to use a glue stick and art glitter glue. I used to just use art glitter glue, but I feel like with a glue stick, you can really get close to the edge, and you want that edge to be as close as possible glued inside your base, because that's where you're gonna like slide stuff up in there and you don't want it to catch on anything. So, but I mean, I'm not here to teach anybody how to glue, right? Do it however you want and however you see fit, because the inside, actually, I do use quite a bit of the art glitter glue too, because I feel like this glue is just so good and so strong. And it doesn't matter, it's like it doesn't show through that base paper because the paper is so thick. So just get it on there however you see fit. All right, now I'm gonna take my paper and I'm gonna fold it, put it in here like up to the fold as far as that will go. And now, kind of all over the place with this, I'm going to make sure that it gets all up to these edges really well. Let's use this little thing. Sometimes I use this. Push it up in there and then kind of burnish it so that any extra glue that's going to seep is going to kind of help just to glue that down really well, right? And now, instead of holding it flat, notice I only did one side because I want to make sure that this comes underneath this channel here, which I didn't do a very good job of on this one. Down just a skosh. All right, so now it folds flush. That's up as high as it can go. So now I'm gonna wanna do the same thing. I'm gonna glue this side and then I wanna fold it over. So it's not gonna be flat, because if we do it flat, then that's just one more double this thickness of bulk that is gonna add to our fold. But if you put it down a little bit farther than the fold, then it takes away from the bulk, and it also gives your paper clip a way to not be too high, okay? Okay. This is where people may not want to stick with me on this, because they're gonna be like, girl, you're crazy. And I probably am, but this is the way I like to do it. So let's put some more glue on here, all the way to these edges. And now we're gonna do this all the way to the edges. Whoops. And past the edges and get glue everywhere. Okay. Now, instead of putting this down flat, we're gonna fold it and then put this down. This is, trust me here, this is what's helping make it sleek. Okay, so let's do this again and burnish that down, get out any excess glue. And now you notice, like, it's not gonna close flat, right? Or lay flat, because, but it doesn't matter if it lays flat that way, right? Doesn't matter if it goes flat this way. We want it to, the whole point is that it's folded in half at the end. So let's double check our paper clip again. Make sure that this fits. And it does. I actually think I have it maybe the other way. Nope, it fits perfect. Flush, flush. Great. All right. So now that we have our construction of our paper clip, we can pick out some papers for it. And this is still in a couple pieces, right? So I can let this dry while we're looking at paper. I'll get some of my, these are just like some of my 4x6 stamps that I like to use for like making papers for smaller elements. A lot of them are the Stampers Anonymous, some of them are Hero Arts. I like to use some muted stuff. Let's see, what are we gonna do here? Just pick one out. Let's use this. This is cute. Okay, so if this is 2 1/4 wide, let's make this 2 inches wide. That way it'll leave 1/8 of an inch around it. And then if this is 5, let's do this at like, for the length of it, 4 1/2, and that leaves, or let's do 4 1/4. I'm sorry, 4 3/4. Go, what did we say, 4 3/4? So that's to here-ish. Okay. All right. We can put these in our scrap bin or just back in this book. We'll put this piece in the scrap bin, this piece in the book. Okay, we're done with our little book. Yep, that'll be good. Okay. And I'm gonna put the, where the numbers are the right orientation up on the long end. And then they're gonna be upside down on the other end, which is okay, right? Right, okay. And then let's see, what kind of papers do we want to use to embellish with? Like, what are some fun, I've got scraps for this particular project in this bin. I've got more scraps, believe me. Oh my goodness, have I got scraps. Because I don't throw away anything now, because you can use like the tiniest scrap for like hidden paper clips and stuff, and that's like a hoarder's dream or a hoarder's nightmare, honestly. So yeah, let's see what's gonna look good with this. That's kind of fun. That's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. That might be too much of the same. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that a lot. There's some more of that on regular paper. That's cute. These are all cute. That's kind of fun. There's all kinds of stuff in here. A little muted hashtag. Is that fun to do like a different type of a measurement? No, it doesn't look good. It looks decent when I'm looking down at it, but not up in the camera. It doesn't. Ooh, I kind of like this. I kind of like that. I don't want too much red. I kind of like this. Is that enough of something? Let's see. I like this and I like this, but I don't know about together. Let's maybe cut this out more around this. Yeah. Okay, I kind of like this. Do I want to cut the rest of the X out? Kind of just like the X of this. So what if we just use, okay, yeah. So I'm going to just use the X. I just cut these extra pieces off of here. And I'm just going to use the X. But do we want to keep that little part with the X? Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then I also do like this yellowy piece. Get this first outer piece on to our base piece. In order to do that, we do want our clip back on it, because now we're gonna like seal the clip in, right? But before we do that, let's ink. Let's do some inking around the edges. Where do you suppose that is? Here it is. Okay. We'll ink up the edges of this, and we also want to figure out, do we want any kind of a corner on our hidden paper clip? I feel like with the straight lines of this, a straight line situation would be good. So we could either leave it alone like this one and this one, right? Or we could put like a diagonal on it. Let's go for the diagonal. And oftentimes when I'm doing diagonal, I will use like this mid-size one for the front, for the longer end, and then this tinier one for the back side. And then we would want to do the same thing here. So this is going to be my front. So let's use this mid-size one and mid-size one on the front, and then the tiny one on the back. Sometimes this doesn't want to go through this really thin paper. So as long as I can see where that is though, then I can use my scissors wherever they are. And just cut that. And that way we're gonna ink up this and this. Okay. All right, let's figure out where we want it to fold. So I feel like that might be goodish. Let's line this up on the sides. Let's see how that looks. Yep, I think that's good. All right, so let's do it. Let's put our paper clip back in. Let's throw scraps everywhere. Let's put our paper clip in. And that's good. Yeah, okay. Do the same thing with our glue here. Use a glue stick, and then I'm going to use the art glitter glue. So I can get it all the way on these edges. But now this one I'm going to do just kind of like around the outside, because I don't want to feel the glue through like whatever like design the glue makes. I don't want to feel those glue lines or see them. So I'm just going to go around the outside, but we've got that other glue there that's going to help hold everything together. All right, so the glue stick also helps it so that we can kind of slide it. I do the same thing on this side. Get plenty of glue. That's a little much. Go around it. Okay, and fold this over. Nice. Okay. And now we just can figure out how we want to put this guy on here. What else wants to go on there? How do we want to do this? I don't think I can do it too much like at a weird angle because that might freak me out a little bit. So it might either just need to go this way and then like off kilter a skosh, like off center. Yeah, off center, but not off kilter. So yeah, we'll go maybe a little off center. And then do we want a little something else? What were some of the things that we liked with it? We liked this, didn't we? Yeah. What if we put some of that on here, kind of coming down? Yeah, let's just something as simple as that. Okay. Let's get one side down. Let's get that side down. We like that right there. Kind of going over the edge a little bit of that. I think so. All right, so get that down. And now figure out where do we want this? That's kind of cute. What if we went, let's put some glue on here. And some glue on here while I'm thinking about it. Let's get some glue everywhere. Because we want that one side to go behind. Okay. We want one side to go over and one side to go behind. I don't know. Maybe that's stupid. And I want to line it up with this line of that too. Or just above it. I want it to be parallel with it. I know that much. I think I kind of like this. I overthink things. Does anybody else overthink things? You're not supposed to overthink things in crafting. All right. Who dat? Okay. Okay. And then you could put something on the back if you want, but I don't know. I kind of like it just like that. Okay, so we just made another paper clip to add to our collection. And you may say, Dina, why do you need such a large collection of hidden paper clips? And I will tell you, it is because I am going to go to one of the workshops that Barbara from 49 Dragonflies is hosting in Salt Lake City in September. And I'm so excited because I love Barbara and I've learned so much from her. And yeah, so I'm going, and I know that she's got 3 workshops and the maximum amount of people in the workshops is 20, so in each one. So I'm gonna meet at least 19 other people, and I thought like I would want to have something to give everybody. So I thought I would make a bunch of hidden paper clips, and then I can give them to the new people that I'm meeting, that I'm gonna be in my workshop with. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll have at least 20 whenever I'm headed that way. But here's the one we made today. And I hope that you like the way that I do the paper clips. I feel like it's probably not for everybody, but it might be for some people, and it's definitely for me. This is the way I like to do it. I did also say at one point, like, oh, hey, don't throw this away, because one thing that I did on some of these is I literally put this, like, I cut out 2 little pieces. I think I've got some somewhere, maybe, I don't know. I cut out 2 little pieces and I laid them back down in the paper clip into that channel, and it just like makes it even more flushier. But I've learned that you kind of don't need to do that. Like, so I've done it on some, I didn't do it on others. You don't need to do it. You don't even need to do the channel the way I do. That's just if you're weird like me and you want to. And I understand that it's probably too tedious for a lot of people. But anyway, that's why I have all these paper clips. I'm going to give them away to people, and I hope that they like them. And I hope that you like my video and the way that I do this. And maybe you don't, and that's okay too. But I definitely know that I learn from like tons of people on YouTube, and I've watched so many paperclip videos, and it seems like everybody kind of has their own way to do it, and you kind of learn a little bit from everybody. So this is the way I do it. I hope that you like it. Thank you for watching. If you stuck around this whole time, thanks so much. I really appreciate you. If you would like, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this way of doing it. You can even say, wow, that's way too tedious. I'm not going to do that. And that's okay too. So just leave a comment, and hopefully you will like and subscribe maybe. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye. How do I do this? Where is it? There it is.